General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna and the Mexican Army arrived in San Antonio on February 23, 1836, to crush the Texian Rebellion. Both Texian and Tejano families entered the walled fortress of the Alamo. The following day, William B. Travis sent out an urgent call for help.
I am besieged by 1,000 or more of the Mexicans under Santa Anna. I have sustained a continual bombardment and cannonade for 24 hours and have not lost a man. I shall never surrender or retreat. Then I call on you in the name of liberty, of patriotism, and everything dear to the American character to come to our aid. If this call is neglected, I am determined to sustain myself as long as possible and fight like a soldier who never forgets what is due his own honor and that of his country. Victory or death.
For 12 days, the defenders were besieged, day and night. They were exhausted and outnumbered, but they held strong and remained committed to the cause.
We have resolved to embark in the vessel containing the flag of liberty and sink or swim in its defense.
Let the convention go and make a declaration of independence, and we will then understand, and the world will understand, what we are fighting for. Under the flag of independence, we are ready to peril our lives 100 times a day.
Colonel Neal and myself have come to the solemn resolution that we would rather die in these ditches than give up this post to the enemy. These citizens deserve our protection, and the public safety demands our lives rather than to evacuate this post to the enemy. Again, we call aloud for relief.
These soldiers are ill prepared to receive the Mexican army. There are no more than 150 men here, and they are very disorganized. Yet we are determined to sustain it as long as there is a man left, because we consider death preferable to disgrace, which would be the result of giving up a post which has been so dearly won.
Though this be trying, our cause is noble. The good people of Texas are availing themselves of their natural rights. They have taken up arms in defense of their rights and liberties, which are threatened by the encroachments of military despots.
March 6, 1836. In the dead of night, the Mexican army assembles and approaches, quietly taking position within just 200 yards of the walls. It is just after 6 a.m. El de Guayo, the battle attack call breaks the silence, followed by the sounds of thousands of pounding feet running towards the Alamo walls. Fiery explosions light up the sky. The battle has begun.
Come on, boys, the Mexicans are upon us, and we'll give them hell.
Mexican engineer Colonel Enrique de la Peña described the scene just outside the Alamo walls.
The attacking columns, bravely storming the fort in the midst of a terrible shower of bullets and cannon fire, reached the base of the walls. General Coss advanced frontally with his column to where the second and third columns were. They all united at one point, mixing and forming a confused mass. But the disorder had already begun, as officers of all ranks shouted but were hardly heard. The most daring of our veterans tried to be the first to climb, which they accomplished, yelling wildly so that room could be made for them, at times climbing over their own comrades. Others jammed together, made useless efforts obstructing each other, getting in the way of the more agile ones, and pushing down those who were about to carry out their courageous effort.
They've gotten over the walls. My gosh, we are all lost.
All right, boys, aim well.
The sharp reports of the rifles, the whistling of bullets, the groans of the wounded, the cursing of the men, the sighs and anguished cries of the dying, the arrogant harangues of the officers, the noise of the instruments of war, and the inordinate shouts of the attackers, who as they climbed vigorously bewildered us all and made of this moment a tremendous and critical one. The shouting of those being attacked was no less loud, and from the beginning had pierced our ears with desperate, terrible cries of alarm in a language we did not understand.
The room is dark with smoke, such piercing darkness in comparison to the belches of fire and lead that plagued a short time ago. In the dark, our men grope and grasp the throats of our foemen and bury their knives into their hearts.
Blood of noble men is seeping into the ground, and bodies of heroes lying cold in death.
The end has come. With it, a new beginning. Remember this story. Remember what happened here. Remember the Alamo.
Good morning.